It's time for you to sound off, for you to speak your mind. This show is for the faithful. Touchdown! Dub Nation.
Bang! Steph Curry again!
And the seam heads that bleed orange and black. Goodbye! This is Sports Phone KNBR. Sponsored by Industrial Metal Supply on the Sports Leader. Check the live stream on YouTube at KNBR 1045.
Here it is. Ground ball to third. To his left. Schmidt's got it. He throws the ball to second. Fitzgerald covering for the force out on Betts. The game is over. And the Giants, the day after their disappointing loss in Denver, come into L.A. and beat the Dodgers 6-2.
All right, welcome into a Friday edition of Sports Phone KNBR. My name is Bill Lasky, hosting the show tonight, and couldn't be happier to be hosting a Beat L.A. show. Boy, the San Francisco Giants, after winning 7 out of 8 games, losing a disappointing game yesterday in Colorado, great pitching, 3 home runs, including a grand slam, fantastic defense, and the San Francisco Giants are now tied with the Los Angeles Dodgers for first place in the National League West. After 70 games into this 2025 season, the Giants are 41 wins and 29 losses. And they have been playing very good baseball. As I said, they won 7 in a row. Disappointing game yesterday in Colorado. I think all Giants fans were wondering how this game was going to take place. Yamamoto against Webb, both aces going at it. With a tough strike zone by Adam Beck earlier in the game, the San Francisco Giants got a home run by Willie Adames in the first, 3 walks in the third, and Casey Schmidt hit a splitter, 1-1 pitch, 423 feet into deep left field, and the grand slam just put the Giants ahead for the rest of the game. They added one more with Andrew Kistner getting a home run, his first hit as a San Francisco Giant, and the Giants prevailed with a 6-2 win. Pitching, we always like to hear that. Logan Webb just pitched outstanding today, only giving up 2 hits, both to Hernandez, one a solo home run in the 7th, as he goes 7 innings, 2 hits, 2 earned runs, 3 walks, 4 strikeouts, throwing 98 pitches, 66 for strikes. And I want to dial in on what he threw. He really threw different pitches today, and really outstanding of what he wanted to do with Kistner. The cutter wasn't the main pitch today. Of course, a cutter comes in like a fastball and kind of slides from a 3 to 9 kind of angle on a clock, and he was really dialed in with this pitch today. He threw 26 sinkers, 23 sliders, 10 changeups, 29 cutters, and the last pitch, a cross-seam fastball, he threw 10 of them. So he really equaled a lot of different pitches here by not just going to the changeup, sinker, and slider. The cutter was a big pitch. The fastball was a good pitch, and he comes out just throwing a gem. 21 first pitch strikes out of 25 hitters that he faced. 7 ground ball outs, and that's what a sinker baller does. 4 fly ball outs. He had only 4 strikeouts. He punched out Ohtani and Betts to lead off the game. Came back with 2 more in the 6th. But as I said, he got a lot of ground ball outs. Got a nice double play to end an inning in the 4th. And he was on his way once that grand slam by Casey Schmidt was hit. He had a nice lead, and he prevailed through 7 innings. Tyler Rogers came in with 7 pitches only in 1 inning. Got 3 outs. 4 of them were strikes. And Ryan Walker cleaned it up with a walk in the 9th, but he ended up throwing 16 pitches, 8 for strikes. And the Giants, once again, the bullpen, 2 shutout innings. So where does this all get you? It gets you first place. And you got 2 more games against the LA Dodgers this weekend. Tomorrow, Landon Roop against Clayton Kershaw. On Sunday, Kyle Harrison against Dustin May. The San Francisco Giants are hitting. We always talked about Willie Adames. Is he waking up? Well, he was 5 for 11 in Colorado with 2 home runs. The leadoff home run in the first inning, shouldn't be leadoff, but he was batting second. The first run the Giants scored was a home run by Willie Adames, his 8th on the year, and he hit that 380 feet to right field. And the Giants had a 1-0 lead. Kind of crazy play in the second inning with the Dodgers. a play at the plate. Yastrzemski was throwing out Smith at home. The ball just got past Kistner, and he hit up tagging him, but the ball dropped out of his glove. And that was really the only run the Dodgers had up until the home run by Hernandez in the 7th. Really good pitching. Logan Webb was dialed in. And I keep saying dial in because the strikes were there. Tough game behind the plate with Adam Beck in the beginning of the game. Both starting pitchers nibbled, and he was given a lot of balls. And then next thing you know, they changed the strike zone. Strike zone really changed a lot in this game, especially in the middle part of the game. And everything started working out for the Orange and Black, and they prevailed with a 6-2 win. Just an exciting first game of 13 games against the LA Dodgers. You looked at this team coming in. You really wondered how this team was going to react against the Dodgers. The Dodgers, more hitting, more home runs. They scored 381 runs coming into this game. They had 105 home runs. Their team batting average 265. On the Giants side, the hitting, 233 team batting average. 294 runs scored, and only 65 home runs compared to 105 by the Dodgers. So you look on the other side, and that's where the pitching comes into it. The San Francisco Giants bullpen, 2.5 earned run average. LA Dodgers, 4.03. That was just the bullpen. When you look at earned run averages for the team, San Francisco Giants, 3.14 compared to a 4.16 to the Dodgers. So the equilibrium here starts changing. The changing from the offense to the pitching. The defense just played both sides. So you got to see what's next. Can the Giants prevail one more time and try to win 2 out of 3 of this series? If they can do it tomorrow with Landon Roop, it sure sets up a beautiful game for Sunday for a sweep in L.A. Hey, let's talk about this game. A lot of exciting things going on, and we can talk about it at 415-808-KNBR. I'm Bill Lasky. This is the Friday Sports Phone KNBR. Let's get the Giants fans fired up. Beat L.A., beat L.A. We'll take a quick break and come back with more right here on KNBR, the sports leader.
Speak your mind on these sports leaders. Sports Phone KNBR keeps coming at you. Streaming live at twitch.tv/thesportsleader.
Yamamoto's 1-1. Schmidt, it's a high drive. Deep left field. Conforto at the wall. Gone! Casey Schmidt just launched a grand slam at Dodger Stadium. And he puts the Giants ahead 5-1. He hit it halfway up the bleachers. Wow, what a moment for Casey. He destroyed that pitch. 5-1 Giants.
All right, welcome into a Friday Sports Phone KNBR. As you hear the chant, yes, you do. And I think all Giants fans loved that 423-foot grand salami by Casey Schmidt after three walks by Yamamoto. And the Giants took the lead 5-1, never even looked back as Logan Webb threw another gem today. He's gone 7 games where he's gone 7 innings and more. And when I was talking about the pitching and the hitting, the Dodgers only have two pitchers have only gone 7 innings. How about that? That's why I say when you look at comparisons, yeah, you got good hitters, go up and down with all the RBIs, but a good pitching performance by the San Francisco Giants by the ace Logan Webb just kind of shut down that offense. Only 2 hits. 2 hits by Hernandez, 1 base hit and a solo home run. And the San Francisco Giants are now tied for first place in the National League West with the Los Angeles Dodgers, both at 41-29. And the San Diego Padres are 2 games back. So it'll be fun weekend. Why not? It's Father's Day weekend. Let's get another win tomorrow and try to sweep the Dodgers. That would be a fun one. I'm Bill Lasky. It's 808 KNBR. If you want to get on the phone lines, let's go to Big Sam. He's up in Lake Merced. Big Sam, Giants, big win tonight. What'd you think?
Oh, my God. Bill, thank you for taking the call on a Friday the 13th. Let me start the show by saying, look, now that the studios are very close to home, and as our friend Andrea, who sees the forecast, I see a Westlake Joe's lunch or dinner, you and I, before or around All-Star game. Because
hey, Sam, all you got to do is invite, and I'll be there. I mean, that's excellent food down there, and you're right around the corner from me.
I don't need they know me. Hey, it's a 5-minute drive, and the studio's close by, so I just couldn't.
I don't know how we're going to eat, though, Sam. We'll be talking the whole time.
Hey, that's the gratitude of it.
Well, you know what, Sam? Let me throw this one to you. Let me throw this one to you. Do you like the comparisons I threw, offense compared to pitching? Because that's really what this is. The offense is starting to go a little bit better. They're starting to click. But the Dodgers had all these boppers in there, and Logan Webb put a silencer on them.
I think I was around, I would say 20, 21 years of age when this pitching duo, and I know the game has changed in about a little over 30 years, but do the names John Burkett and Billy Swift maybe ring a bell? And
20-game winners. 20-game winners. Oh, yeah.
Yes, two 20-game winners, and Logan Webb and our lefty is
Robbie Ray.
They will both.
Yeah, Robbie Ray.
Robbie Ray will both be our all-star representatives, and I think that it. You know what? It really took some tough, in my most humble opinion, it took a Buster Posey tough love reassessment to say, you know what, this is unacceptable. And I went to 2 of those games, and I stayed to the very bitter end, and they were both disappointing losses. And you know how we talk about this. Every win makes a difference. And there's 20 games left before the All-Star game. So remember I called and I said my prediction is 50 wins by the All-Star game. I'm going to have to up that to maybe 5 to 7 wins more.
Well, Sam, on June 4th is when Buster Posey made some changes, and Dominic Smith was out there, and you probably heard my show on that Sunday when I saw Dominic Smith take his release from the Yankees in AAA, and he was hitting .385. And I said, here's the perfect guy. He's great defense. He plays left field also. But I thought he was better at the defensive side. And he's a first baseman at heart. And what he's shown us is he can play. There's no question the defensive side he shines. But the hitting today, going 3 for 5, a couple knocks off that lefty, and batting fourth, I thought that was really a good move by Bob Melvin.
Bill, these guys are not quitting. And to say and fans, I love the Giants since my first game at Candlestick since 1979 and been watching. I really think that this NL, both West and East, it's going to take the 84 wins is not going to cut it. Like, the Diamondbacks got lucky with 84 wins and made it to the World Series. And the St. Louis Cardinals in 2011 won the World Series with 83 wins. And it changes. I mean, it is evolving.
It's going to change. So you know that, Sam. It's going to change as the season continues because teams get hot, teams don't. 2 weeks ago, everybody was complaining, no offense, we have pitching, and you were wondering when it was going to happen. Willie Adames, they were thrown off a cliff. Next thing you know, Matt Chapman gets hurt, and who takes the cake? Casey Schmidt. What a great job he has done defensively. And sure, the blunder he had in that ninth inning yesterday in Colorado, it didn't hurt him today. Played good defense, and the grand slam was just the cake. Boy, frosting on the cake when he hit that slam.
Bill, these guys are pros. Willie Adames is a pro. He's going to I just saw the other day, most recently, Derek Jeter talked about in 2004 when he started the season 0 for 40.
Right.
These guys are pros, Bill.
Yeah.
They're going to come out of it. And,
well, it happens. And you know what? The other one, Sam, was when Matt Chapman came on a post game and said, you know what, when I came here, I didn't hit the ball well. You put pressure on yourself. And, I was out there last homestand a couple times watching Willie Adames hit at 2 o'clock, smile on his face. I chatted with him for a good 15, 20 minutes with Pat Burrell. He was all excited. He just really wants to play. That's all he wants to do. He's like a little kid. I'm not worried about a slump. I'll get out of it. I'm a good hitter. And there's no question. Pat Burrell goes, and he's slamming balls in right center, slamming balls in left center field. I said, dude, where's this in a game? And he goes, oh, it's coming. And it sure did. The 2 days off he had, boy, refresher. And, boy, he hit the hell out of the ball in Colorado. 5 for 11, 2 home runs, 2 doubles. And the defense, he got a cannon for an arm short.
Listen, Bill, thanks for always giving me my time. That's my time. And you name it, that calamari and ravioli is yours. Just give me a date. It's going to happen right around the All-Star game, and I'm waiting.
All right, Sam. We'll be in touch, buddy. Good call. I appreciate it. All right, Sam. Have a good night. Let's go up to Portland, talk to my buddy Greg. Greg, you're on a Sports Phone KNBR show with Bill Lasky. A big win. Giants have won now 8 out of 9 games. Just really good baseball right now.
Hi, Bill. Thanks for taking my call. You caught me. I'm nibbling on cheese and crackers here.
Ah, I caught you. Okay, all right.
That's okay. I'm swallowing it right now. I've been trying to get through to you for a couple of shows, but it's been busy and I've called late. So tonight was great. Absolutely wonderful for Giants fans.
I thought the Willie Adames home run just to get Yamamoto in a different mode. And, Yamamoto has not pitched well in June. He's got over a 5-pointer in run average. The walks killed him today, the 5 walks. Of course, 3 of them before the grand slam was hit. And, in the beginning of June, oh, hey, this guy's going to win the Cy Young. This guy's this guy's that. And you know what? Everybody had opportunities to hit against him. Today, I thought the Giants' approach was perfect. Let the balls down. He had to throw a lot of pitches down. They had Casey Schmidt on NBC Bay Area, and Sean Estes said, what was your plan? What was the attack? And he goes, I couldn't tell you. I can't really tell you, but the plan worked. And I really think it was anything below the knees don't swing at, because the curveball was low, the splitter was down. He couldn't really get a lot of it. He threw a 4-seam fastball, a cutter, a sinker, a slider. He really ended up just throwing 4-seams fastballs because he couldn't get anything in the zone.
Right. That's my observation. Also, not as technical as a pitcher, but my observation of him this season is that, and you know, when you walk people in baseball today, even at the college level, it is almost fatal.
Well, you know, and I'll go back to that game last night with Randy Rodriguez. He only walked 2 or 3 guys the whole time, and he ends up walking 2 guys in the 9th, and you could just see the pressure he was putting on himself. And I felt bad for him. I really did, because he wasn't fluent. He wasn't comfortable, and he couldn't throw the ball, you know, on the inside to right-handers. Everything was away. And he was just uncomfortable yesterday in Colorado. And you know what? I just want to know how the Giants were going to come back today. And it didn't bother them. They came in with the spirit of, hey, we just won 7 in a row and lost yesterday, and we're coming right into Dodger territory. And they played a good, sound baseball game, good defense. How about that grab Yastrzemski made in right field?
You're the only person that's mentioned that tonight. They didn't talk about that much, you know, on the post game. And you know, we've got knowledgeable people, but I'm watching the game, and that was almost critical to keeping the momentum going towards victory. And
you know, when he first hit it, you know, that was Freeman hitting it. You saw Webb put his hands on his head, and I go, that's not out. There's no way he got that out. And then you saw Yastrzemski lose it, and then he does a basket catch in right field. Premier catch right there. That was a game winner.
This is why you critics out there of Yaz need to stop and listen to those of us that like Yaz. The guy is dynamite in right field for what we need, which is a defensive outfielder.
What about the play at the plate? He threw that ball well at home, and Kisner just dropped it.
Well,
I mean, he was out.
Yeah,
he was out at home.
And I want to talk about, I hope I pronounce his name right. Is it Neisner?
Who's that? Kisner?
The new backup catcher acquisition.
Kisner. Andrew Kisner? The guy that caught
I
today?
want to talk about him.
Yeah, he's played in the big leagues before with the Cardinals.
No, he's a great addition. I'm a catcher, or was, you know, blah blah blah. I caught, you know, so what? But I watch the catching position more than any other position, and he's good, and you always can use good backup catchers. The Giants always do have good second-string backup catchers. This guy, you know, he's gone quite a while without getting his first hit, and I'm watching the game. What a way to get out of your slump! Not just to get a nice, not just to get a nice hit against the Dodgers, but you got a home run that padded the lead, that shut them up even more. And
well, you know, it gives them confidence moving forward. I think that's one of the coolest things when you hit a home run or you get a key hit, you know. But the only real problem the Giants had today was Elliot Ramos going by Matt Williams and getting out at home. That was a play that I think all of us were hoping wasn't going to hurt him. It didn't, and I just think he's going to learn from it. You can't run with your head down, for one thing. And you could see the disgust on Matt Williams when he got in a pickle. If you just tone on, right on and watch Matt Williams, you could just see him nodding, going, oh, my goodness, I can't believe he ran right through my stop sign.
Yeah, that was a throwback. That was a throwback mistake of, you remember how I like to talk about M's versus errors.
Mm-hmm.
That was a throwback to the bad old past of the Zahidi era of just a year ago.
Yeah. Well, I think Kruk and Kipe said the same thing. You know, he thought he could get home on the double, and he didn't look up, and next thing you know, he rounded the base so fast he was halfway down, and Freeman had the ball, and he was caught right in a pickle, and he had no chance. Boy, I'm really just happy about Dominic Smith. I just think he has fit in with this team so well. And Lamont Wade Jr., for the years he played here, he had some ups and downs. This year he just couldn't get it going. He's now with the Angels. His first 2 at-bats that I didn't see after that, he punched out 2 times. He's playing left field for the Angels now. But this guy's a professional, no question. Played in the big leagues a few years. And you know what? I just think he handles the bat better, goes the opposite way. 2 nice hits against lefty tonight. And playing first base, man, he's just so stellar over there.
Yep. Well, that's the main reason I called in tonight, because I've been trying to get through to you for 5 days or so. I wanted to chime in on the Buster moves of, a week or even 10 days ago now.
June 4th.
Dom Smith and all.
It was June 4th because that was the game when they were down 5-0,
right.
Came back and won 6-5.
These,
and from there on, it took off.
These changes that Buster made were impressive, and we're seeing yield already. Dom Smith, Neisner,
Johnson.
And Johnson, and it just shows you the difference. You got rid of Zahidi. You got Buster Posey, not only a baseball guy, but at the top of the pyramid, in my opinion. And the Giants are 11 games over 500 and tied with the God Almighty Dodgers. And
that spent billions.
You haven't even, the team that could buy Jesus if they knew he hit 300.
Well, Greg, we're going to find out more.
July.
Yeah, we're going to find out more. Got 2 more games, and then they come home, play the Guardians and the Red Sox. It's getting through the stretch, and before they end up playing the Marlins and the White Sox. So if they can keep this stretch, stay healthy. Of course, we lost Matt Chapman, and of course Patrick Bailey also on the IL. But they're battling through these injuries, and guys like Casey Schmidt, Andrew Kisner are stepping up. So it's a good start and a very good opportunity for guys that sit the bench most of the time, getting a little limelight, and I love that. So thanks for the call, Greg, on a Friday night. Appreciate it. I'll be on all weekend if you want to touch base with me. Let's go to Mike. He was at the game today. Talk to me a little bit, Mike.
Hey, Bill, can you hear us okay?
I can. Just speak up a little louder. It would be great.
You bet. No, thanks. Yeah, we're headed back from the game. We were down all week touring colleges. My son is going into his senior year at Albany High, and we decided to go catch this game, catch the first of the series after listening to a week and a half of one-run baseball and torture through the Colorado series. We did not expect what we got tonight. That was something else.
Yeah, it was exciting, and I say it earlier. I think the Willie Adames home run just got a lot of light in that clubhouse and dugout, and it just got it sparked. And Willie Adames at Colorado, I keep throwing the numbers 5 for 11, and you got to look at what Casey Schmidt also did there, 5 for 12. I mean, both these guys lit it up in Colorado, and that momentum just got them right back into this first game of a 3-game series, and both of them prevailed on defense as well as offense.
No, I couldn't agree more. And then the fact that Webby sent Shohei down 4 times and Freeman 4 times just kind of really cemented it. I mean, he took that first inning and sat him down after Adames did what he did, and then it just went from there. That was really exciting.
Sure did. How exciting was it when you saw Casey Schmidt hit that grand slam 423 feet up in left field?
There was no question. It was gone the moment we saw it lift off the bat. It was. I was wishing that I could hear one of the calls from one of the guys, because I think they had about 30 seconds to say what they wanted to say before it cleared the fence.
Well, when he hit it, he kind of looked out of his corner of his eye into that first base dugout where the team was just going crazy, and he just ran the bases so professionally, no gloating or anything. He ran around, shook Matt Williams' hand, and then once he hit home plate, boy, it went crazy. And I loved it. You could hear some Giants fans there, of course, with 60,000 people in L.A. Dodger Stadium, but that was an exciting time, and I think that was just such a momentum builder to say, hey, you know what, Dodgers, we know you got offense, but we're getting hot too.
Oh, yeah. No, I think we showed up well, and I'll leave you with this, Bill. Hearing what Dodger Stadium sounds like after they watch Casey Schmidt hit a grand slam right in their face, there's nothing like it.
I love it. Well, thanks for the call tonight, and safe travels, and I hope your son finds a good college down there. There's a lot of good ones there.
Thank you, Mike. my son wouldn't mind saying something if that's okay, Bill.
Yeah,
Go right ahead. I got it. I'm all ears.
How about Ryan Walker? I mean, he lost the closer spot to Joe Ball as of late and had some rough spots, but it was great seeing him come in the ninth and to finish them off to win the game here.
Yeah, I thought both Tyler Rogers as well as Walker cleaned it up. Rogers only threw 7 pitches and Walker threw 16 with the walk. It got a little testy, getting behind hitters, but, when you take that role away from him, Ryan Walker's that kind of guy I just want to pitch. I just want to win. I just want to help. And when you got a bullpen earned run average under a 2.5, these guys are gelling, and I don't think they really care who finishes the game.
Yeah, absolutely. Have a good night, Bill. Thanks a lot,
All right,
Bill.
thanks, guys. Enjoy the rest of the night and the weekend. All right, let's go to Tom in Sunnybrook, New York. Tom, beat L.A. You staying up late tonight?
Yeah, Stony Brook, New York. Yep, I watched the game on MLB Extra Innings. Unfortunately, they only had the Dodger announcers on tonight, and but tomorrow they're going to have the Giant and Dodger announced. Both games I can choose from.
Well, Tom, the Dodgers announcers weren't talking too much because they really didn't do much on the offensive side.
No, they didn't. And I was saying I've been a Giant fan since 1954. The first game I ever went to, I was 6 years old, and I saw the Willie Mays catch at the World Series.
Beautiful. Well, what do you think of this Giant streak, Tom? Tom, this Giant streak they were on, they won 7 straight, and then they lose one coming into the game tonight. Were you questioning a little bit about the momentum from last night's game, if that was going to bother him or not?
I just think it was a bad. The way it looked to me, that ball, it took a bad bounce to Schmidt, and that game should have been over with a double play there.
Yeah, you're absolutely right. That ball came up on him. It looked like it might have hit the lip of the grass, and it kind of had a spin on it. And he almost got him at first base, too. I thought he recovered really well on that ball.
Yeah, I was hard to tell. I don't know. I guess he didn't have a chance at third at all.
No, because he was coming in on the ball. That was the biggest thing there. And, just coming back today and seeing him play third and going after, he swung at the first pitch in his first at bat and flew out. And then he took the 1-1 split, and the ball came down and in, and you saw Yamamoto just put his hand on his head. He knew that ball was crushed.
Yeah, and an interesting thing, too, was when I was in high school, a future teammate of yours was the star pitcher here, and as John Curtis.
John Curtis, boy, that's before me, buddy. I remember John Curtis, but he was never on one of my teams. That was probably in the late 70s, wasn't it, Tom?
Yeah.
I'm not that old, buddy. I might be old, but I'm not that old, Tom. All right, my friend, we'll have a good night out in New York, and let's hope for another win tomorrow and see if they can sweep them, at least try to win a series. It'd be great. Thanks for the call. Staying up late, Tom. Appreciate it.
Sir.
All right, we're going to take a quick break on Sports Phone KNBR with Bill Lasky, 415-808-KNBR. If you want to get on the phone lines, it's a late night Friday, but why not? The Giants beat the Dodgers today in the first game of a 3-game series. They're now 41-29, tied with the Dodgers for first place in the National League West. All right, we'll take a quick break. Come back with more right here on the Sports Leader, KNBR.
Check the mic and make sure it sound right, boys. it sound right, boys. Sound right, boy.
Sound off on the sports leader. Sports phone KNBR keeps rolling right here and on the all-new KNBR app.
Here's the right-handed throwing. Swinging. There's a high drive into deep right field. Way back there. Hernandez at the wall. And adios! Pelonja! And in his first at-bat in Dodger Stadium, he hits one out of the ballpark. And the Giants have a 1-0 lead.
All right, back on Sports Phone KNBR with Bill Lasky. I love to beat LA and the Dodgers suck. Oh, yeah, I was in that mix back in the early 80s against Fernando Valenzuela and Rick Monday and Steve Sachs. I could name that whole lineup, and it was fun beating LA back then. But, boy, now today, I love that game today. 6-2, the Giants win the first one of a 3-game series. They now have won 8 out of 9 games. Just really good baseball by the Orange and Black. And tomorrow, Landon Roop takes the hill. 7:10 first pitch right here on KNBR. He's 4-4 with a 3.29 earned run average. Going against Clayton Kershaw. Kershaw has only thrown 5 times so far. He's 1-0 with a 4.3 earned run average. His last start against St. Louis, who went 5 innings, the most he's pitched. 5 innings, 6 hits, 1 earned run, one of his better outings. No walks, 7 strikeouts. Gave up 3 runs to the Mets, gave up 1 run to the Cleveland Guardians. He only threw 2 innings and 4 innings in his first 2 starts. So we'll see what the Giants do. He doesn't have that quick velocity anymore. He's still got the good breaking ball. And so far, 20 2/3 innings he's pitched, 10 earned runs. So let's see if the Giants can mount an attack against Clayton Kershaw. And I'm sure Giants fans would love to see that and see what Landon Roop did. Landon, his last start against Atlanta, got the win. He went 6 innings, only giving up 3 earned runs. San Diego, he threw 6 1/3, got a no decision, no earned runs. And Detroit, 4 innings, 1 earned run. So Landon has been pitching consistently. In the month of May, 1-2 with a 1.7 earned run average. So we'll see what he learned from Logan Webb tonight. Most likely they'll look at what Logan threw today. Most of it was just new pitches. The cutter he threw a lot today when you look at what his pitch mix was. 29 cutters, 26 sinkers, and 23 sliders. So those are the 3 pitch mix. The changeup and the fastball he only threw 10 times, but it worked. He threw a gem, 98 pitches, 66 first strikes. 415-808 KNBR if you want to get on phone lines. Jeff Young's going to join me a little bit later. Of course, he has a couple podcasts he works on, and we'll talk about Jeff a little later in the show. Let's go out to Hayward, talk to Rick. Rick, you're on Sports Phone KNBR on a Friday night with Bill Lasky. Good game tonight by the Giants.
Yeah, Lask, it was a really good game. Surprising to me, I wasn't going into this weekend with high hopes after the Giants gave up 20 runs in Colorado. And I know it's Colorado. I get it. I get that anything can happen, but that pitching staff in Colorado is horrendous, and the hitters are even worse. So that's why I was going into it. And I called up Murph and Marcus this morning, and I was the cup half empty guy. So I have to eat a little humble pie tonight, which I'm fine with doing. I'm fine with doing it. I'm very happy. There was no way I was expecting 3 home runs by the Giants tonight.
Well, I thought one thing, Rick, when we jump into this, when you looked at Yamamoto against Webb, they both really had some great months of May, and then June. Logan Webb had a couple hiccups, but his last couple outings, he's been pitching well. Today, 3-1 at Dodger Stadium was his lifetime numbers there, and the biggest guy that he had to worry about was Mookie Betts. Mookie Betts has just killed him, and when he struck him out on the slider, the second at bat, I'm like, wow, he didn't even pick up the spin on that ball. A lot of calls were real close. Adam Beck behind the plate, I don't think he had a good strike zone until the middle of the game.
No, it did. I did not personally see the game tonight. I had to use John and Dave as my eyes as I'm working, but they both were commenting on how wide and around the plate the umpires' calls were tonight.
Yeah, inconsistent. And, it was just inconsistent, and I'm going to take a look at what the grades had and how many pitches he missed, because there was a lot both pitchers complained about. Both of them did double takes in. But it ended up prevailing. I mean, Yamamoto in that third inning walked 3 guys, a walk, a strikeout, a walk, a strikeout, and a walk before Casey Schmidt hit the home run. Kind of a crazy inning, too, and he was walking guys on 4 straight pitches. So, it was a tough strike zone. The Giants prevail with a grand slam, and they never looked in the rearview mirror after that.
Well, the Dodgers only got 2 hits, right?
By Hernandez.
2
Hernandez.
Hits.
He got a base hit to right and a home run.
Yeah, that's amazing. So kudos to Logan for keeping the ball down and sweeping it to the left and to the right. And
it's about right, too.
Balance. I commend him. Casey.
Well, Rick, in the beginning of the show, I kind of said this was it. The Dodgers had all this offense. The Giants had all this pitching. And it really was a battle. That was when the battle started, and the pitching prevailed tonight. And hopefully Landon Roop, as I say, looks at what the game plan of what Logan Webb did and takes a look at the ISOs on some of the hitters and learns from it, because that's what I would do if I'm going home tonight. Give me the game that Logan Webb just pitched. I want to see how he threw each guy and to see what I could do similar.
Well, let's hope he can do that, because he's looked really good. I went to the game against the Padres that he pitched. He looked really good in that game. And then the game prior to that, Detroit, he had a little issue.
Well, they had made a couple errors. They made a couple errors behind him. He only gave up 1 earned run. The Padre game, 6 1/3, 4 hits only. Got a no decision in that one. He's walked a couple, struck out 5. The Atlanta game, he gave up a couple runs early, but he hung in there for 6 innings. Overall, the 26-year-old kid has really pitched well in his 13 starts.
Yes, he's really done good. A very good decision on Buster, Bob, and the pitching coach.
Yeah, J.P. Martinez. That was a good solid move to sit Birdsong in the bullpen. Birdsong pitched well in Colorado, didn't get anything out of it. He's just got to get a little more length. I think that's one thing they're probably looking at. And it just seems weird about Birdsong. 1 inning, even each game, he just kind of loses control. And he says, I don't know what it is. I just can't get the grip of the ball 1 inning. And he's done that twice now in his last 2 starts.
Well, the worrisome start to me will be Harrison, to tell you the truth.
On Sunday.
The kid gives up home runs like they're going out of style. And
he's only given up 4.
I really want
He's only given up 4 home runs this year.
I'm talking about his starts. it seems like he gives up a home run in every start. I mean,
you're
granted,
wrong.
he's only thrown.
I hate to tell you this, my friend Rick, but you're wrong. I'm just telling you facts.
Right.
I'm not saying I'm right. I'm not saying you're right. I'm just telling you you're wrong. I'm looking at numbers right in front of me. And the other thing, he's not walking people, Rick. He's only got 9 walks, 25 punch-outs at 24 innings. So I just think some of the innings that he does, he gets into a little trouble. He hasn't had length. He threw 5 innings against Colorado, giving up 3 earned runs, 4 1/3 San Diego, 5 against Miami. I would love to see him go 5 or 6 innings against the Dodgers on Sunday, especially with Monday off. Give him that bullpen opportunity to follow up with him.
Yeah, that would be impressive if they could do it. If we could get 7 innings from all our starters, that would really do a lot for the bullpen, who really needs some time off.
How about that stat I threw out there earlier?
Today?
Rick, how about that stat I threw out there? 7 7-inning games that Logan Webb's already thrown this year. 7. And that was his 14th start. So 7 of them has gone 7 innings.
Amazing.
That's impressive. That's a Cy Young winner. That's an all-star in my mind.
Well, one thing I wanted to bring up was Casey Schmidt.
Mm-hmm.
I know he had a rough game yesterday, but the kid has got a bat. And to me, at the end of last year, he was doing really good. He had a .250 batting average.
He got hot.
He was hitting the ball for power. And now we see what he can do, and it looks like he's finally rounding into shape and not swinging at the first pitch, like he was when he first came up after.
Yeah, he did that the first time against Yamamoto today, but you're absolutely right. I think the swing path is a lot better. He's not swinging at a lot of balls down, where he did that a lot, the free swinger, trying to swing as hard as he can. I remember last year I talked to Pat Burrell, and they pulled him off the plate a little bit more instead of putting him closer so he can kind of drive the ball inside but yet keep the outside reachable. And he's made a lot of good adjustments, and today, that splitter that Yamamoto threw came right down and into him. He didn't miss it. He crushed that ball.
Yeah, I saw that. That was excellent. I was really impressed with his swing. And how far did that go up in the bleachers? I couldn't believe that.
423 feet. I got it right here.
Oh my God! Well, that's over halfway up. There's a walkway in between the two.
You're absolutely right.
And then there's the section.
Well, Rick, have a good rest of Friday night, buddy. Good talking to you. I'll be on all weekend. Pick up the phone and call me. We'll see how this Giant-Dodger rivalry goes tomorrow. We'll be right back on here tomorrow night. Thanks for the call, Rick. Be safe, buddy. Let's go out to Berkeley and talk to Andrea. Andrea, you're staying up, but you're really not staying up. This is your morning time.
Yes, my pleasure. I'm a night owl and got a lot to celebrate on this night. We got happy Friday the 13th, happy anniversary for Matt Cain's perfect game. Mm-hmm. Happy Giants in first place over the Dodgers.
Yeah, they're tied with them right now, Andrea. The 7-game win streak yesterday was just a little bummer in the 9th, but I think a lot of Giants fans, as well as myself, to see how they were going to react today. And Logan Webb put it on his shoulders, and he threw a gem.
Yeah, no, intense Scorpio, right man for the job when we have to, get back in the spirit of things. And, wow, baseball, the next day, like Casey Schmidt, he can redeem himself. So
yeah, I just, and I really want to say something about him. That ball kind of took a bad hop, and people are just saying, oh, he made an error. And if you look on the replay, it kind of hitches the edge of the infield and kind of comes back to him with a spin on it, and it caught him in the heel of the glove. And, if you're not running in to try to grab that earlier before that hop, yes, I think he just, thought he could just sit on a little bit. I didn't feel bad. I thought the play could have been, made, of course, but it didn't. And that might have been a double play. He almost got the guy at first, and, of course, the strikeout would have ended the game. But all in all, the Giants played well in Colorado. They win 6-5 on Tuesday, 10-7 on Wednesday. Sure, they had a big lead yesterday. They blew it. But today just put them over the top. You forget about yesterday. You win today, and you look for tomorrow.
Exactly. I mean, baseball is that wonderful sport that is played every single day for the most part. And fellow Virgo Willie Adames, he's getting, back in the groove.
Yeah, it was good. I just think, I was saying it earlier. I was up there at the last homestand, and I go early because I can get in and watch some batting practice, and he was out there with Jung-Hoo Lee and Tyler Fitzgerald and Pat Burrell, and I just sat there behind the batting cage and watched him hit, and man, he was just hitting everything right on a solid part of the bat and going to right field, left field. Pat was wanting him to do this and do that, and man, it was just impressive. And it was good that he had a couple days off to rejuvenate and get his brain right and forget about what he did and start fresh. And boy, Colorado 5 for 11. That's a nice fresh start.
Yes, and Virgo, it's a mental game, and we can be in our mind a lot and be critical of ourselves. So that was really good to get a few days off and kind of mind, body, spirit, kind of rejuvenate himself. And, it's just really nice to see the team kind of clicking on all cylinders. It's really very
I
exciting.
agree, Andre, and the pitching has just not stopped. The pitching has just been dynamic, and the numbers are showing it, and they just go out there. 2 nice innings by Tyler Rogers and Ryan Walker to finish it, and we'll see what Landon Roop goes tomorrow, and we'll do a little extra inning post-game show right after, Andrea, so I will probably be talking to you this weekend.
Yes, look forward to it, Bill. Thanks again for your great
Thanks
shows.
again for the late-night call. Have a good rest of the night. All right, we're going to take a quick break, bring on Jeff Young as we talk about this game and the weekend series and see what he has in store. And you know what? The Giants are in first place, Giants fans. They're tied with the L.A. Dodgers. They're both 41 and 29 on a Friday. They're 70 games into the season, and the Orange and Black are tied with the Dodgers. Got to love that. I'm Bill Lasky. This is Sports Phone KNBR. Coming up next, I sit down with Jeff Young right here on The Leader.
This is Sports Phone KNBR. Dial the digits or send us a text at 415-808-KNBR. We're streaming on YouTube all damn day at KNBR 1045.
Two down, nobody on, and here's Andrew Kisner, the catcher. He is 0 for 3, and he swings, and it's a high drive in the deep center field. Page's going back, still going back. He leaps at the wall, and goodbye! And apparently the ball is still in play. I thought the ball cleared the wall, but the second base umpire out there was giving the safe signal, C.B. Buckner, but now I think he got overruled by the other umpires, and they tell Kisner to go ahead and round the bases.
I mean, I have no idea what C.B. Buckner was looking at. That was definitely gone. And the Dodgers knew it was gone. They just threw it back to the dugout.
All right, welcome in on a Friday Sports Phone with Bill Lasky, a late night Friday, but the Giants won it earlier in Dodger Stadium 6-2 to tie the LA Dodgers for first place in the NL West. Great game. 3 home runs, 1 grand slam by Casey Schmidt, and the pitching by Logan Webb, Tyler Rogers, and Ryan Walker solidified the win. All right, jumping on with me on a late night, Jeff Young. You can read his work on Round the Foghorn, and of course the podcast, PPP Podcast with Mr. Knudsen. Let's bring on Jeff. Jeff, good evening. How are you?
I'm doing well, Bill. How are you?
Well, thanks for staying up late with me. Let's just jump into Logan Webb and what he threw tonight. A lot of cutters, which was surprising to me.
Yeah, that wasn't a pitch he had used a whole lot so far this year, but I think maybe he was saving it for the Dodgers. They've seen all of his other pitches quite a bit over the years, so maybe he just felt like this was the right time to throw the cutter. I think he threw it 26, 27, 28, 29 times tonight, and it was a pretty effective pitch. It's nice to have another pitch that has some glove side movement for him, and he was getting some pretty good results. So maybe he'll start to throw it a little more.
Yeah, Jeff, the other thing I saw him, he really didn't throw many changeups today. He only threw 10. He threw 10 fastballs, which is a little higher than normal. He really stuck with the sinker, the slurve, and the cutter. And, watching his game as you do and I both and analyzing it, when I look at Baseball Savant and seeing what he's throwing, he really mixed it up really well. And Andrew Kistner, you saw him shake off a few times more than he did with Patrick Bailey. What did you see overall? What did you see a difference in Logan Webb today in overall all the pitches he threw?
Well, I mean, the changeup has seen a decline in usage compared to the past couple of years. But, yeah, I mean, both the sweeper and changeup are still missing a lot of bats. I mean, I think he only had 4 strikeouts tonight, but he had like 14 or 15 swinging strikes. So he was still getting hitters to swing and miss. And he was getting really every hitter but Teoscar Hernandez to swing and miss. Mm-hmm. But, yeah, I mean, he was mixing in that cutter a lot more and just relying on that sinker sweeper cutter mix. And he was doing pretty well.
When you look at what he did, Ohtani goes 0 for 3 against him. Betts, who really hit him well, he walked him on a pretty close pitch. Freeman, 0 for 3, got him on a sinker for a strikeout. When you look at this offense, and I kind of said that in my open, when you look at how much these guys have scored and you look at their RBIs, 39 Ohtani, 33 Betts, 41, 37, 47. Each guy is over 30 RBIs. And for him to go out there and just put a muffler on their whole offense and only give up 2 hits to Hernandez, it was a really nice outing.
Oh, yeah, it was. And I think that's just the type of game that Logan Webb kind of lives for. He's kind of got that big game mentality. I mean, if we go back to 2021, he had 2 fantastic starts in the playoffs against the Dodgers. And he's generally been pretty good against them throughout his career. So I think just, going to Dodger Stadium and being kind of in enemy territory and really shutting down that offense, I just think that's the type of pitcher. I think he wants the ball in his hand. I think he lives for the big moments like that.
Did you ever watch Yamamoto throw? I've watched him several times this year. A lot of his good has been off speed or that big sweeping curveball. And I think the Giants really left him alone with the pitches down below the knees. I really thought they had a great game plan against him, and he ended up walking 5 guys.
Yeah, that's one of those things that if they could just replicate that approach game after game, they'd do just fine. They had a really good approach against Yamamoto tonight. They made him work. They got a little help from the umpire. The umpire strike zone was a little weird. It felt like a lot of borderline calls kind of went the Giants' way. But, to their credit, they weren't swinging out of the zone. They weren't really expanding the strike zone. They weren't chasing all that much. And they made Yamamoto work. And by the end of Yamamoto's night, he'd already given up 5 runs, which I think is a career high for him. He's done it a couple of times previously. But, the Giants were just patient. And it'd be great if they could just continue to replicate that approach over and over and over again.
Jeff Young joining me on Sports Phone KNBR. You can read him on X at BaseballJeff1. Does a great job with the minor leagues. Had a great article about the San Jose hot hitter. Man, you did a really nice job on that. Hey, Jeff, I want to talk a little bit about Casey Schmidt. Matt Chapman goes down. Looks like he's going to be out a little longer, too. Really a third baseman his whole career. Has really shined over there. Sure, a bad bump yesterday, but I thought overall he has played really well. The play down the line where he jumped and threw to first in Colorado was spectacular.
Yeah, I mean, coming up through the minors, he was always recognized for his defense. I think he was in 2022, he was a minor league Gold Glove Award winner at third base, and they only give one of those out at every position. It's not like there's an American League Gold Glove and a National League Gold Glove. There's just one for every position in the minors. So, the defense has always been a strength of his. He has a great arm, really good range at that position, and somebody who probably would be an above average defensive third baseman if he was able to play there on an everyday basis. Of course, that's not going to happen with Matt Chapman there. But, he looks comfortable in the batter's box too right now. I think it's nice for him knowing when he gets to the ballpark that his name's going to be in the lineup, because they don't really have any other options. So this is a really good opportunity for him right now to show what he can do. And in really early going, he's kind of running with it.
Which is shining. I think he's really done a great job. He's comfortable out there. You can see he's more relaxed this year than last year. I'm going to go to the catching side because Patrick Bailey, of course, is one of the best in Major League Baseball. He's out with a stiff neck. Andrew Kistner, of course, played in the big leagues with the Cardinals. Logan Porter jumped in there. He's been never really consistent at the big league level. I think this is something where I think the Giants are probably going to look down the road and strengthening their catching position, especially when you see Patrick Bailey going out for a time.
Yeah, I mean, I think they'll get a little more offense with Porter and Kisner than what they've got so far with Bailey. That's not to say that Bailey doesn't have the offensive upside. But, I think the Giants have done a nice job of having depth options within the organization this year. They didn't have to go out and get anyone, which is what they've had to do in the past couple of seasons. So they've avoided that situation. But, I mean, the catching depth really runs thin after Patrick Bailey. And, as good as Kisner was behind the plate tonight, I mean, there's still a pretty steep defensive drop-off between Patrick Bailey and really any other catcher, most catchers in baseball. So, I mean, the Giants have some depth there, but it gets really thin after Bailey. They at least have guys who have a lot of experience behind the plate, like Kisner and even Logan Porter. But, it's just there's a pretty steep defensive drop-off there.
Jeff, one of the blunders the Giants did today was Elliot Ramos rounding third and going too far, went through the stop sign with Matt Williams. Kruk and Kite both said, he's had some issues running the bases. I mean, that was a big blunder in a game, such as important as this. It didn't hurt him, but sometimes you look at some of these wild horses on the base pass, and I think a lot of them are doing instinct instead of really understanding what's going on and looking at that third base coach. I think Ramos just went right through him.
Yeah, that's what it looked like to me. I think Matt Williams had the stop sign up, so it looked like Ramos just kind of ran through that. They got away with it tonight, but it's just one of those things that you can't make too many outs on the bases because those things come back to bite you later on. And the Giants have been, in my opinion, just making a few too many outs on the bases lately. That's something that they just need to clean up. And the third base coach is there for a reason, and it would behoove the runners to really listen to what the coach is saying. And it just looked like Ramos ran through a stop sign tonight.
A couple more minutes with Jeff Young. Of course, you can listen to his podcast, the PPP podcast, and of course, you can read him around the Foghorn. Jeff, when you look at this lineup today, I thought Bob Melvin was very, very constructive on how he put it with Jung-Hoo Lee and then Adames, Ramos, Smith, Flores, Schmidt. I really liked how he did that to the point of putting Dominic Smith in the 4-hole against a right-hand pitcher, and he prevailed with 2 hits against a lefty, and he goes 3 for 5. He's definitely making a mark. He's definitely proving the Giants, hey, I can be here. I can help this club.
Yeah, I mean, I think with Dominic Smith, it was really about just trying to get any production whatsoever out of first base, which they weren't getting with Lamont Wade Jr., unfortunately. So the bar was pretty low for him to kind of hurdle over, and he's done a nice job of that, having 3 hits tonight. His defense is look good at first base. Just really, I mean, he has a 715 career OPS. If he gives that level of production to the Giants, that'll be a substantial improvement at first base over what they got earlier in the year. So, he's off to a nice start now. That'll probably come down to earth a little bit, but I just think he's definitely a serviceable first baseman, both defensively and offensively.
Jeff, one of the players that I want to discuss with you, Gerard Encarnacion, he's been struggling at the plate. A lot of pitches away, a lot of breaking balls out of the zone. What do you think the Giants can do with him? Because he has not been productive as they thought he would be.
Yeah, I don't know if they're entirely sure what to do with him yet. I know Zach Manasian said that, they'll be patient with him. He was on KNBR a couple of days ago. So, They like what his bat can do. They like the bat speed, but there's a lot of issues with his bat path. He hits a lot of ground balls. He chases out of the zone too much, and he swings and miss quite a bit. But he really just needs to start running into a few pitches to just kind of breathe a sigh of relief, because it feels like he's pressing. I think he has 1 hit and 15 at bats. It's baseball. It's just about, sometimes it's just like getting the confidence going, and having a few hits fall, and from there you can start to get a hot streak going.
Have you watched any of Clayton Kershaw's outings this year? He's only had 5 starts.
Yeah, I caught the first start that he had. I think that was his really rough start. He's been better since then, but I haven't caught much of him.
Yeah, I watched his last start against St. Louis. The velocity's definitely not there. The breaking ball's still there, but it's kind of a slurve. He's trying to get back into his zone also. I mean, he's been out for a while. What do you think the Giants can do against him tomorrow?
Yeah, I mean, they've seen him so many times over the years. I think just really trying to stack the righties up against him. I feel like Casey Schmidt's a good matchup against him. Mm-hmm. Kershaw doesn't really have a weakness, or I mean, when he was in his prime, he didn't have a weakness. But one area that he struggled with was the right-handed hitter that he didn't have experience against. And I think Schmidt's just one of those hitters that he hasn't seen a lot of. And the same could be true for Elliot Ramos. So just stack the lineup with righties, and just be patient. That they know that curveball is going to be coming. They know that he can't really sneak the fastball past them anymore like he used to be able to. Try and avoid getting into a curveball count, and take advantage of the fastball when it comes.
Jeff, a couple more questions with him as we end up a Sports Phone KNBR on a Friday. I talked earlier about Landon Roop on one of the calls. I think it was with Rick from Hayward. And if I was Landon Roop, I'd take the game plan that Logan Webb had and memorize it, because he just dissected that lineup so well today. What do you think Roop's got to do against this team tomorrow?
Yeah, I mean, that's not a bad approach. Landon Roop's one of the Giants pitchers this year who has added a cutter to his pitch mix, and he hasn't thrown it that much. Maybe that's something that he comes out and starts throwing a lot of tomorrow because of how much success that Logan Webb had. But I think the key for him is just finding a way to get that changeup to work with his curveball and sinker, so that he doesn't have to rely on a curveball when he needs to steal a strike. I think he really falls into a pattern there, and hitters kind of pick up on it. And when they know it's coming, it's a little easier to hit. And, if they see it over and over again, they kind of know their movements. And just having the third pitch to kind of add a little variety to what he throws, I think it's just the key for him every time out. And we've seen at times where the changeup's been pretty effective. We've seen at times where he hasn't had as much of a feel for it. So really just finding the consistency with that changeup, and maybe mixing in the cutter a little bit tomorrow, given how much success that Webb had.
You're absolutely right there. Jeff Young, pleasure on me coming on the show again on a Friday night, staying up a little late talking some Giants baseball. But it was a good Giants game today as they win 6-2. But thanks for your time again, Jeff.
Yeah, thanks for having me on, Bill. Always good to talk after Giants win against the Dodgers.
I agree with you. All right, I want to wrap up the show. The Giants end up winning today 6-2. They're now 41-29. Logan Webb gets his 6th win on the season. He goes 7 innings, 2 hits only, 2 earned runs, 3 walks, 4 strikeouts. He drops his earned run average down to a 2.58. Tyler Rogers finished it up with a 1 clean inning. Ryan Walker had a walk in the 9th, but he ended up putting a 0 on the board, and the Giants prevail with a nice win. 3 home runs tonight. Adames hits his 8th. Of course, Casey Schmidt hit his 2nd, a grand slam, and that was in the 3rd inning. And Andrew Kistner, his first hit as a Giant, and he goes deep to right center field. I'll be on tomorrow. The Extra Inning postgame show will continue tomorrow and Sunday. Got a great show lined up on Sunday. I sat down with Damon Miner yesterday and talked a little bit about hitting. Of course, he's an assistant hitting coach for the Giants. And I caught up with Joe Noga. He's one of the premier writers for the Cleveland Guardians. Guardians lost today to the Mariners up in Seattle 7-2, and we kind of take a look at the preview for the 3-game series. That'll be on Sunday night. But again, the Giants win today 6-2. They're now tying first place. I want to thank my producer Kyle Haar for producing the show, and also my guest Jeff Young. You can follow him on X at BaseballJeff1. For Bill Lasky, be safe, be well. Have a great rest of the Friday night. We'll do it again tomorrow right here on KNBR on the Extra Inning Show, and we'll see if the Dodgers and the Giants will see what they do in game number 2. All right, have a good night. More coming up right here on KNBR, the Sports